2, 1. We live.
Are we live?
We live.
Welcome back to another episode of the Love and Crypto podcast. I'm your host with the most, Wendy O, and this is my amazing co-host, Hotep Jesus, live on his channel. How you doing, Hotep? I missed you.
I missed you too. You've been busy. You've been running around. Sorry I couldn't be there last week. Had kid stuff.
I know.
But how was it? How was the event?
It
looked like it was a blast.
It was an entire mood. It was an entire mood. It was a vibe. It was so much. It was a lot of fun.
You was there for like a week, right?
I was gone. Okay. So what happened was I was supposed to leave Monday at 8 a.m. with some of my friends with Altcoin Daily because we always travel together. But I decided to stay until Tuesday morning because it was my daughter's last day of school. So I wanted to make sure I picked her up and I took her to school, picked her up and stuff. So then I booked my flight was like at 7. So I got there, I think on Wednesday or Tuesday night, but then I was able to go to DecentralCon to speak on Wednesday. And then I was on stage at Consensus with the Hash because I'm a CoinDesk employee now. Thursday, Friday is Saturday.
Wow.
It was fun.
So what was that? Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that's 3 nights.
So yeah, no, Thursday.
It feel like longer.
It did because last week was just a long week, but it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I came home Sunday.
Interesting.
But the Syscoin thing was super fun. Like we did a live. I was supposed to do a live stream for them on my channel, but I learned something on YouTube. So if you schedule a live stream on your computer, on your desktop, you can't access it through your cell phone. It has to be the same device.
Oh, wow. I didn't know.
So let's say you schedule scheduling live streams, like you have to make sure it's from the device that you want to stream from. So I had to stream it to Twitter, which I went ahead and I streamed it to Twitter, which it worked out really well. We got quite a few views. So, and it's so funny because my friend CryptoFace is another YouTuber. He was like recording for us live on Twitter, which was really funny. And then all my NFT friends came to the Syscoin party. They had a blast. They had really good nachos, really, really good food. Syscoin did it really, really well. So thank you, Syscoin, for inviting me, for having me there. We talked about their new update that they did with like the optimism and ZK rollups, like all that stuff that they're going to be having, an airdrop that they're having. And it's all going to be coming soon. And one of the things I like about them is they've been a project since like this last bear market. So I feel like confident that they probably will continue to build and survive this bear market. Like obviously people are like, when do you price? I don't care about price. And I'm telling, like, we could get into price and what's happening with the markets in a little bit, but I think it's important for people to at least pay attention to projects that are actually building decent things. Take that information. And then if that's something that they're interested in, they want to invest, that's their business. If they don't want to invest, that's fine. They can still be a part of the community. There's other things you could do, but that's just my take on the matter.
Yeah, that's powerful. Shout out to Syscoin, sponsor for the month. Doing great work. They are, if Bitcoin and Ethereum had a baby and it was babysat by Allen Iverson. It's like, nah. It's a reference to a movie reference right there. But yeah, if they had a baby, it'd probably be Syscoin. Shout out to Syscoin. I mean, everything's down right now, right? The entire market's down right now. So,
I'll explain why.
It's, okay. Excuse me. Please do.
Okay, so what happened was we had the Terra Luna debacle that happened. So UST depegged from whatever the hell they were supposed to be backed by, and that's because the founder was literally stealing like $80 million a month. Like it's all on chain. You can see most of it, but he's stealing like $80 million a month. They stole it was just a bunch of crazy ghetto stuff that they did. So it wasn't even, they're just absolutely terrible. There's a bunch of like drama going on with that. So that kind of initiated the initial part. Then Celsius, which is a platform that I use, like I have a business account with them, personal accounts with them. My mom has an account with them. He's got an account with them. I know a lot of people have accounts with them, but what happened was they were having liquidity issues. It seemed like, and when I say liquidity issues, that's probably not the right word. Basically what happened is Celsius is a platform that you put your passive income in, or you put your moon bags, like your long-term holds, things that, because let's face it, anytime you use any type of centralized exchange, there's adherent risk to it, not your keys, not your coins. And we talk about that. So I like to use my moon bags and put my moon bags on these exchanges to earn that that passive income because they pay yield back. But basically what Celsius is doing is they were able to pay this yield by utilizing yield from other DeFi platforms that are a lot more risky. So what ended up happening was the markets turned, their liquidation number was getting really, really close because they were taking collateralized loans out on their crypto. So what happened was they froze like customer funds so nobody could remove any of the money. So hopefully people will be able to take their money. Hopefully we will be getting our money back. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's part of the risks of crypto, unfortunately. And yeah. So that also caused a lot of fun in the market. But it's so funny because there's Bitcoin maximalists that are trashing Celsius. They're trashing all this stuff. But what they don't realize is that it's okay to call people out on bad behavior. But when you're consistently like poking and causing all these issues, you're hurting customers, you're hurting clients, you're hurting people that are invested in these projects too. And that's one toxic part of our industry is people like, oh, I'm going to call this project out. That's fine. If you want to call the project out and say bad things that are happening with it, but when you're piling and you don't stop, and it's incessant, it's kind of like a little bit of overkill at that point. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm fully aware of the risk when I put my money on exchanges. I've put money on exchanges and the exchanges have shut down and you don't hear me, whatever. So I get it. But at the same time, it's it's in their terms of services. It literally says that there's volatile market conditions. Celsius is legally allowed to freeze funds. And they're allowed to freeze funds because it says in the terms of services and you have to click the terms of services. So it's an awful situation. Like people are losing money. Like it's scary. It's sad. Like it sucks. But so that's part of the reason why the market's down. And I actually can I share my screen or no? I can't, huh?
That's a negativo.
Okay. Anyways, if you look at the Bitcoin.
Send me the link and I could pull it up.
I can't.
What do you mean?
I can't because it's on a chart. It's a chart.
What chart?
My charts.
Oh, your chart on where? TradingView?
Yeah.
What's the pair?
Well, it's just Bitcoin USD.
Oh, Bitcoin USD?
Yeah, if you look at the chart, because I got my lines and stuff there. If you look at the chart, hold on, let me try to pull mine up.
Pull up your lines.
That's fine.
Fancy,
but anyways,
fancy lines.
Well, the reason I'll just explain it to you. So basically what's happening is that with Bitcoin, and there's also another a hedge fund called Three Arrows Capital, which I'm not going to go too hard on them because they'll probably come for me. But anyways, I kind of went hard on them earlier on my show, but basically they might be insolvent as well. And there's rumors that Celsius is insolvent. So what's happening is all these big, and Michael Saylor too, all these big guys have taken out collateralized loans against their Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. And when you take out a collateralized loan, you have a liquidation price. And that's basically if the amount of the loan drops below a certain value, the company that's essentially holding that collateralized loan for you says, we're going to take your money because this is getting too risky. So they want to take their money. But what happens is when that happens, you get liquidated out of your position. So you lose all of your loan. So it's a very risky, collateralized loans are very risky. It's not like a mortgage loan for your house where you're just paying a little bit of interest on top of it. So those liquidation prices are around for initially it was 21,000, but they added more collateral. So it brought the liquidation price. Now I think the liquidation price for Celsius is 17,000. Three Arrows Capital, I don't know what amount that was at. And a lot of these guys, Three Arrows Capital and Celsius, had a bunch of money tied up in Terra Luna and their anchor platform that was generating 20% yield. And the thing was, with Celsius, is a lot of us didn't really see this coming. I didn't necessarily see this coming because when you look at Celsius, they're only giving 7% for stable coins, which isn't a whole lot when you really think about it compared to some of these other DeFi protocols. Because I've seen 1,000%, 500%, 100%, create 30%, 20%. So the fact that it was at around 7%, I'm that's not too terribly risky. But apparently it was not a good way for them to do business. And, risk. And that's why the market is down. That's why it's crashed so fast and so hard. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, we had Gary Gensler come out and say how dangerous stable coins were. We had the UST depeg from whatever the hell they were backed by Bitcoin and some other assets, whatever. And UST is a stable coin. It's an algorithmic stable coin. So we had Gary Gensler literally 1 year ago said that he's coming after stable coins. And now we have all these stable coin collapses right now. It just kind of it's kind of bizarre that all this stuff is collapsing. When he said this like a year ago, we knew that they were going to be adding regulation and whatnot. But one of my gripes that I have, and I said this on BitBoy show, I said it on my show, I said it on CoinDesk, I said it everywhere, is if the SEC really cared about protecting people and they knew that all these platforms, these DeFi, these products, all these crypto products are being created, why didn't they step in with some sort of guidance and regulation for these companies or for people in the United States if they really cared about protecting investors? They had since 2017 to do so. Once we kind of started building DeFi protocols, why did they wait until now to come in and say, oh, we need regulation after people lost their money? Isn't their job supposed to protect people?
Well, that's what they say, at least. What's the time range you looking at the Bitcoin chart on?
I generally look at the chart that I have. Well, I use different time frames, but
What'd you want to show?
I wanted to show my lines.
Well, just tell me the chart.
You're not gonna. Okay, look at there's.
Period.
You could look to the daily.
Daily.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm looking at it.
All right, so if you look to the daily, we've got a support line at like 27,000 and another one at 19,000, like where we bounce because we kind of kiss that area. So I think the next liquidation price is $17,000. But you can look at the chart and you can see all of this happening. And like we saw the breakdown that occurred at like 26.8. That was the area of support we broke down, and then we kissed almost 20,000. Which, if you look at the weekly chart, you could see the all-time high back in 2017 when we had that move up. So you were good at calling 20,000. I knew we were going to get 20,000. I just didn't think it was going to happen this fast. I thought it was going to be like full blown like bear market stuff because we haven't capitulated yet. But I do think that we are going to range between 10 and 20,000 soon. I think that around 10,000, 9,000 is going to be like the bottom for Bitcoin after the Celsius, the Terra Luna, the Three Arrows Capital. After all of this is said and done, that's what I think is going to happen.
10 looks like a good bottom.
It does, right?
10 looks like a fair bottom. I think, if I were to take an educated guess on this, I want to lean in towards 19. I want to say 19 is a guaranteed buy. Again, it's not financial advice, but it sounds like if I see it at 19, I gotta buy a load at 19, and I think the next one is probably 11, maybe 12, and then it could see 10. It could see 10.
I bought at 30, 25, 21, and I'm going to buy all the way down. I'm going to keep buying all the way down because I want to create a really large Bitcoin position.
Yeah.
And I want to hold for the next couple of years or until we're back in the bull run again. And then I want to sell when we break $100,000 and I'll have a couple years salary just by buying and holding.
Yeah,
swinging.
nice little nug.
Yeah.
Yeah, take that out, move it into something sexy.
I'm just going to hold on to it and let it vibe for a little bit and then go ahead and cash out once it hits a certain area.
Cash out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
So that's the plan. That's what's happening with the bark is a bunch of bullshit. Basically, we're going to get regulation and we knew we were going to get regulation, but I feel like they could have done a better job. They should have put something in place prior. And that's just what's so upsetting is this industry is so lazy, like not crypto, but the SEC, like they're just so lazy. It's like, what are they doing? Like we're in this case battling Ripple, whether Ripple's or XRP is a security or not, or whatever the hell they did. Like we all know that every single crypto is going to be classified as a security for the most part. So just classify it already. Let us pay our taxes. Like let us have access, like do whatever it is we need to do, but like put these safeguards in place so you can protect these people instead of just sitting here saying that, oh, we need regulation. You're literally wasting our time.
What does that do for the long term? One side I want to say that it's probably, you have to be bullish once the SEC comes in and regulates crypto. Some people might argue and say they would be bearish, but I think it would have to be bullish because now what you're basically saying is the modern financial system is co-signing crypto as something that's legit, which means that the retail market would, in effect, I wouldn't say explode, but it's going to have some sort of expansion. It's going to have some sort of adoption. I heard my parents ask about crypto. When I heard them ask about it, I said, okay, we've probably moving into not the laggard stage of growth, but the stage right before that.
It's, it is what it is. Like I personally I don't need anybody to tell me what to do. I'm capable to invest myself. I know the risks about things. I'm not crying about losing money like a lot of other people do. But that's just me. I'm a different breed. Like my mom used to whip my ass when, I'm whatever. So I'm used to learning things the hard way. But there's a lot of people that feel they need regulation. I'm hearing a lot of people on TikTok, like my audience members, like, we need regulation. Crypto needs to be regulated. It's like, dude, look at the stock market. The stock market's regulated, and that still didn't help people from losing their life savings in 2008. Interest rates are all managed by the Federal Reserve. All these loans that they have with homes, those are all supposed to be safe for people, and they weren't safe, and people lost their livelihoods. So it's really is regulation really going to help people, or do people just need to wise up and start paying more attention to their families, paying more attention to their communities, paying more attention on self-education and empowering their communities and their families to learn what traditional finance is, to learn what these TradFi products are? I mean, really, because education should start from home. And yes, there is the argument that we do need to have, personal finance taught in school, because that's in public schools, because it's required by everybody. So yeah, I think we should. But at the same time too, like, as humans, I still have a choice. I have a choice after I get off the show with you to where I'm going to lay in bed and watch Ozark, or I'm going to educate myself and read a book, or I'm going to read your book. Something, educate myself.
You told people turn off the Netflix, pick up a book. Sounds like responsibility and accountability.
I don't know. I mean, should I think it would probably be a better idea for me to read your book and learn about the history of money than to sit and be watching Ozark. Like,
yeah. I mean, I watch Ozark.
But you know what I'm saying, though.
I mean, I do, but I watch Ozark after I'm done reading, right? Like,
that works.
There's a certain amount of studies that I have to do in order to be Hotep Jesus, to sustain who I am. I want to say that people need to know their passion. I need to work at that. It might not be reading. For me, knowing everything is a passion. Well, I don't want to know everything, but everything about what I'm studying. So you need to find out what it is that drives you, and do that, and push the Ozark stuff to the back. Did you finish Ozark, by the way?
I did not finish. Okay, so this is the thing.
Where you at? Where you at in there? Where you at? You on the last season at least?
Yeah. No, I'm in the last season. I'm where Ruth and her, I forget who the lady is, who the white trash lady is, that she wants to go buy.
You all early. Okay, you ain't getting nowhere yet.
Well, we have to talk about that. That's actually the next topic that we're going to be talking about.
Okay.
It's a hot topic.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think of how I could say this and be politically correct. Okay. So there's this woman on the internet. Now she's like all into crypto, she's into Web3, whatever. And she's a very famous person's sister.
A famous person's sister. Okay.
Okay. So I want you to play it for the audience. Go to your DMs. I sent you a tweet. Look at the video of this woman, and I want to get your feedback on it before I say anything, before I ask you the question, because you're going to know after you watch it, you're going to know.
Where's this
what I want.
Is this the allow us thing?
Yes.
Okay, let's pull this up on the screen, and then we'll play it. If you'd like to play along with us, you can pull the video up on your side, and then we'll synchronize. I'll do a countdown. We'll both press play.
Yeah, because I asked. So I went and asked the husband about it, and he said he and we had a conversation, and I says, I'm going on with Hotep. He's like, okay, and he's like, well, ask Hotep. We'll see what Hotep says.
All right, let's go ahead and hit play on this. 3, 2, 1.
So the way
Oh.
okay. So that was your reaction. Okay. So the way somebody explained it to me is they said whitelist. They said, okay, Wendy, think about whitelist and think about blacklist and think about the colors that are used.
Okay.
They said whitelist means good, you're allowed to get in. Blacklist
Black
means
means
you're
bad.
bad, you can't get in. And generally, like when we talk about good and evil, like angels are always like there's like a white light, like a white light, like angels. And then obviously like the devil is like dark, black, like evil, darkness. And I mean, when I turned my lights off, when I was a little kid, I used to get scared of the dark because it was pitch black. But when I would turn the lights on, it was white and I didn't feel scared. And I feel like most kids can kind of relate to that. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm ignorant, but I'm not necessarily seeing an issue with utilizing the terms whitelist and blacklist. Can you give us some context to that? Can we use that term? Is it okay? Is it bad? Like, help me understand.
Well, the issue is multifaceted. Okay. First
Okay.
of all, when we're talking about so-called melanated people or black people, we're talking about eumelanin, which is dominant with the carbon atom. Carbon is going to appear black or blackish or charcoalish. Original African people are technically blue black, so black that you actually look blue. It's a whole nother story for another day. Then you got like, the brother on the corner who's got his beef with white supremacy, and he's saying this is how they push white supremacy. It's subconscious. They say blacklist and black means bad and white means good. And Hotep Jesus is over here like, uh, you know, um, cut me a check. Like, white lady, you feel bad for whatever? Invest in my business. Cut me a check. I'm not really too concerned with the words. Um, I want to see some zeros in my bank account that we can put to work, right? I'm a capitalist, and I believe that in order for projects to turn, they need capital. When we think about communism or socialism, what makes those things turn? It's capital that makes things turn. Without resources, people can't do much. You can't generate much production. And I'm all about production. That's why our tagline here at Hotep Nation is Hotep and Build. So, no, I'm not really here for the whitelist, blacklist conversation. If people would like to spend their time doing that, I find it to be rather cute. And I'm not going to tell them to stop doing that work. I just would rather spend my time putting gas in different cars, because that car I feel is going nowhere fast. And it also is an illustration of how soft this generation is. It's like, oh my God, they're using these words. Da, da, da. It's just like, all right, what we're talking about is power and how you access power. And really, when black people, I guess I'm about to say something cancelable, because if we're concerned about our likeness, how is it that black masculinity is able to be attacked from every single angle, and we're being represented by people who black men do not choose to represent us? People who fall under a different flag, a flag that's being celebrated this month with many colors on it. So, that to me is more of a concern when we're thinking of likeness. What is the likeness that's being projected on that Hollywood screen of your people? But I think that if you have money and you have power, you can generate motion pictures that provide the proper likeness. And that's why I'm looking to, generate in production. Therefore, I can create the real images that I want to see out there. That's why we're producing a behind the scenes Hotep Nation HotepCon documentary at HotepCon. Go get your tickets now at hotepnation.com. We're filming 4 to 5 um, viral spots sponsored by Twitch app. Shout out to Twitch app. Syscoin's gonna be sponsoring the documentary that I'm shooting this weekend in Idaho. So I'm going to Idaho this weekend, and we're gonna do a walk and talk in the woods, and that's gonna be super dope as well. So if this white lady feels bad about the terms blacklist or whitelist, I think she should enter the hug list for people who would like to donate to the Hotep Nation homeschooling program or invest in our productions.
Fair enough. Can I say something?
Yeah, sure will.
I just wanted to understand, like, because I mean, maybe that there's like maybe people create, because I know maybe they created those terms like way back when things were a lot different and there was meaning behind it. Because I know there are some words that we use today that could have certain meaning behind it from way back when. But at the same time, I just thought it was one of the things I thought it was really bizarre that they said a hug list. I don't think that and this is Mark Zuckerberg's sister from Facebook. That's
Zuckerberg's sister?
That's his sister.
Mark Zuckerberg's sister.
That's Mark Zuckerberg's sister.
Now she definitely is somebody who's in a position to cut a check.
Randy Zuckerberg, please cut a check to Hotep and Build, to the Hoteps, because they're trying to do some things here. And if you really, really want to be a part of inclusivity, cut a check.
Cut the check to the Hotep. Show me you really real.
Okay. So, but it was very interesting. She used the term hug list. And the reason why
I didn't consent to a hug and I feel violated already.
That part right there is a hug list. In our industry, we generally have a lot of men, and actually I won't even say men, boys, that degrade women and that say terrible things about women. So having something called a hug list, that doesn't seem consensual to me.
No,
okay.
That's creepy.
Thank you. That's what I thought. So the thing, I actually didn't have a problem. I don't have a problem with using the word white or blacklist. Maybe I'm going to feel sad because they're not including the term brown, because I am a little bit brown because I've been in the sun a little bit. And so is my husband. He's brown. So I feel like we should add brown list to the list. But anyways, but the term that really bothered me was hug list, because I'm like,
yeah, who asked for that?
Nobody asked for that. So I don't know. I just thought it was a really weird flex, like a really weird thing to say, because like, I just, when I see people, like, I'm not, oh, that's a white person, that's a brown person, that's a black person, I need to be their friend. Like, I don't feel like the need to go out of my way to be nice to somebody because they look different than me. If I vibe with your energy, I want to be around you. I want to be your friend. Like, I want to get to know you. I want to work with you, do whatever. But I feel like it's kind of weird that we're still focusing so much on that stuff, the superficial stuff, because I feel like that kind of creates a problem.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see a massive funding of the queerification of the Black community and the greater community at large. No matter what color you are, we're going to have the queerification, and the only thing that can protect you from that is Sharia law and a hijab. But this is what's coming down the pike.
Well, I just want to focus on being a really good mom and being a good person and just supporting people that I like and that are doing good things, regardless of their color, regardless of their race, regardless, as long as they're a good person, I want to support them.
They're going to have programs for gender inclusivity. They're going to have, they'll see what they'll do is, before they fund a Black business that'll actually do something productive for the Black community, or do something productive for a market, because that's what you need in order to be a successful business. So before they actually fund a project that is going to be healthy for a market, what they'll do is they'll fund a whole bunch of gender inclusivity and programs that, like this one, we have to change these words like blacklist and whitelist because it's hurting people's feelings. They'll fund that before they fund anything productive. So what they're doing is they're funding victimization. And I spoke about this before. This is one of the 7 stratagems of Marxism, is victimization. That is part of the acronym DIVIDE. And they always have to find a victim or create a victim out of someone or something, because without a victim, they have nothing to exploit. The victim is the host for the parasite. Victimization is the nest of Marxism.
Do you feel left out?
Yes. Yes, I do. Because empowered people don't get to feel like a victim, and nobody cares about us.
I saw that and I was just like,
You saw what?
I saw her video and I'm just like,
It gives you a headache.
It does, because I feel like there's more important things we need to kind of address right now. Like we literally, the Fed is raising interest rates again. I think a current mortgage rate is like 6%, and it went up. Check the mortgage rates. Check the mortgage rates right now. Check.
Let's take a look here. Oh my mama. According to Google, the 30-year fix is at 6.75 right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my Lord.
I feel like that's racist.
It's 7% in Cali.
I feel that that's racist.
I concur.
Because I feel like people of all colors can't afford to buy a goddamn house anymore. And that's why I didn't sell my house, is once they started raising interest rates, I says, you know what, if I sell my house, what's going to happen is when I'm ready to move to Florida, the rates are going to be so goddamn high. I'm not going to do it. So I decided to stay in the house. I think I have a 3% interest rate.
Yo, back in my day, when I was slinging these things, you could get an arm. You could get a 3-year arm for about 4.5, maybe even 4.25 on a good day. 7% was a subprime loan. We would sling those, even FHA, we would sling 7%. I could probably squeeze 2 in the back, maybe 3 in the back, on maybe 1 up front for a 7.5er. But 30-year fixed, that was a subprime loan. Pre-2008, and this is what you're saying right now is the average rates as of yesterday. So what are they going to be? Because this is as of June 14th. So what are they going to be as of June 15th? Now that the Fed has raised the interest rates 0.75 bips.
Wow, I didn't realize that. Thank you for sharing that piece of information. So basically, what's going to happen? That's going to halt the real estate market. People can't buy, unless you're paying cash. Who could afford a 7% interest rate? In California, the average home price, let's say LA County, the only city in LA County you can get a house for 500. You can't even get a house for 500,000. You can't get a house for 500,000. I'm gonna go on Zillow right now. Actually, I don't even want to go on Zillow because I always go on Zillow all the time. Look, I don't think you can get a house. I'm talking about a house, not talking a condo. There's nothing on the market right now, nothing on the market in LA County. I don't even think you could get, I think in Pomona, which is like the last place in LA County, the farthest closer to San Bernardino County line, which is like 30 miles away from LA. I think Pomona, where the boxing gym is, I think the cheapest you could get a house is $600,000 for a dump, a legit dump. So a $600,000 home in the hood with the schools are 3 out of 10s. The public schools are 3 out of 10s. Okay. In Pomona, that's like the average. So you're getting a house, 600,000, 1,200 square feet, 3-bedroom, 1 bath on a lot with like 5,000 square foot lot, whatever. $600,000 house in the hood with the 7% interest rate. Tell me, who can afford that?
Lord, we got to say a hymn for my Christians. Yo, it's hard times. Like I said before, if you can survive Biden's America, you could make it through anything. This is going to be the darkest times in world history. At least American history. I wouldn't say world history. There was probably some pretty dark times like the Holodomor, or, I just hate to, be a Polish person in the 1800s. But yes, they're probably the darkest times for Americans since the inception of this country. I think that I don't think it's going to shake the middle class as much as people may fear. And I'm speaking of the savvy middle class, because the savvy middle class is probably going to generate some wealth from this period. They're going to know to take to switch from blowing that extra income and now investing it in the downturn of the markets, being more aggressive with their 401ks and their Roth IRAs. So turning those things up and weathering the storm and coming out big on the other end. I think the people that are going to hurt the most are the poor, the Biden voters, or the people that were exploited for the benefit of the Biden administration at the detriment of the Trump administration. And that is what's going to attack the middle class, because we're going to have the high amounts of crime, which is going to lead to mass incarceration from Joe Biden. And he's already said he's all about law and order. So look for a lot of calamity. But I think that we'll weather the storm financially. But with the rise in prices, I think it's going to be a little rough. But I think, like I said, if you can make it through this, you're going to be able to make it through anything.
Well, big shout out to the blue collar workers, big shout out to the construction workers, the plumbers, the electrician, the home builders, the woodsmith, the people that the men that know how to use their hands and build, because those men, for the most part, they're going to be able to support their families throughout this entire thing. And the reason why is because a lot of people have this convolution that you have to go to college and you have to have a paper degree, which education is important, right. But at the same time, you still need builders. And the United States of America and people, well, the United States of America cannot function without construction workers. We need them. Like, if your house has electrical problems or plumbing problems, you can't do anything unless that's taken care of. You need running water. You need, your electricity to work. Everybody, like, we're so reliant on those things. Mm-hmm. So big shout out to them, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be okay and going to make it out of this okay for the most part, at bare minimum.
Yeah. What else do we have to cover tonight?
I don't know.
Christina Aguilera. Shout out to Willie Handy, one of our super chatters. He said, shout out Auntie Wendy and that Hotep Jesus dude.
That Hotep Jesus dude.
Oh, Chalamoy. He said, I appreciate y'all finally recognizing me in the thumbnail salute. Shout out to the feds. Chalamoy said, funding victimhood, but also funding the big logos. Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to the chat's been really fun today, really engaged. Appreciate you. Shout out to Raider, doing great work out there. I appreciate working with Raider. Kamar, shout out to Kamar. He said ski mask and black Air Force One season. Yeah. I would also buy a lot of guns in these times. I think that, again, I've said this before. I'm just going to say the best investment is a firearm. It's the best investment going into the future. And in any time period in which firearms exist, firearms are the best investment you can make. It's always going to go up in price. Always, especially as these Democrats try to gun grab and increase legislation on firearms.
Did we ever find out where that that horrible tragedy that happened, the gunman, did we find out where that man, or where that 18-year-old came up with approximately $9,000 to purchase all of those firearms?
I think he was working at a fast food joint, right? Like Wendy's or something like that, and saved up his money. What, you don't believe an 18-year-old can save up $9,000?
Okay, in 6 months. Okay, sure.
That's the official story. And how dare you question it?
I'm just out of curiosity, because I know when I was 18 years old, I was not interested in saving. I wanted to go out and party. Yeah, he probably would have. That money would have been more better well spent if he spent the $9,000 partying. He'd probably be in a better mental state. I always just question those things. I want to know, I always look at outside things and I ask questions, just like I'm very curious why we thought it was a good idea to print all this money. And then now we're upset about inflation. Not us, but the people. Or I'm curious
What
to
do
know
you
why
mean?
people.
What didn't you hear today?
What part?
Oh, wait, let me pull it up here.
Oh, the reset, where Powell said that we need to have a reset in order for people to be able to buy homes, young people to be able to buy homes. That's not how that works. You can't just reset everything and make it to where people could buy homes. He's forgetting the process that happens in between of the resetting. People lose everything. Makes no sense.
We got Daddy Warbucks. AP News reported by Lolita Baldor. Details of new military aid for Ukraine from U.S. and allies. It says the $1 billion package of military assistance the U.S. announced for Ukraine on Wednesday is aimed at bolstering the country's ability to push back Russian advances in the eastern Donbass region. Several European nations added their own contributions. As U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin wrapped up a meeting of more than 45 nations in Brussels to discuss Ukraine's security needs. The aid reflects, the $1 billion package is the largest single tranche of aid provided by the U.S. since the war began on February 24th. It includes $350 million in rapid, off-the-shelf deliveries by the Pentagon and $650 million in other long-term purchases. All combined, the U.S. is now committed about $6.3 billion in security assistance to Ukraine since the beginning of the Biden administration, including approximately $5.6 billion since Russia invaded on February 24th. The U.S. military aid announced on Wednesday include 18 howitzers and 36 rounds of ammunition, 18 tactical vehicles, mobile artillery, vehicles, parts, harpoons, wait, hold on.
Harpoon? Huh?
Off-the-shelf deliveries by the Pentagon and $600 for longer-term purchases. Yeah, so we apparently, the printing of the money has only begun.
So I'm all for protecting the underdog. My only question is, what happens to Americans that can't? I just want to know what happens to Americans.
Why are you thinking about Americans? We need to be thinking about the Ukrainians.
Let me ask you this.
Ukrainians are dying. How dare you?
So are Americans also.
But we have to think about the Ukrainians. Why are you deflecting from Ukrainian lives? Ukrainian lives matter. You don't care about Ukrainians?
Do you want to be put on the blacklist?
It's racist. Racist. You see why it's so easy to win an argument as a leftist? It's so easy. You just stay on code. You don't care about Ukrainians? What about Ukrainians? It's all about the Ukrainians.
I care. I can't even. I'm not gonna say.
Did you see the people in the Pride parade waving the Ukrainian flag? You know, Ukraine doesn't recognize same-sex marriages, right?
Russia doesn't either.
Uh-oh.
They will put you in the gulag in Russia.
Oh.
For the most part, people should be thankful that they live in America and not be too upset with our policies here, because we do recognize same-sex marriage. We do allow you to pretty much do whatever it is, just as long as it's consensual for the most part. But who knows how that's going to change later in the future.
I mean, we got drag queen story time, so pretty much anything goes.
See, this is the thing. My gay friends are not, they're not with that. They're not with that.
Uh-oh.
It's not appropriate to them.
They're TERFs.
They're gay.
They're TERFs.
Lesbian. They're gay and lesbian.
They're TERFs.
It's not appropriate. Like, I have one of my very good friends. He's gay. He does like mental health services, mostly for kids. And he's very like, he's a man. He's a boy. Like, his sexuality has nothing to do with what his job entails. He's a man, and he's there to do his job. He's there to make sure that his clients are getting the proper care that they need, the proper health care, the proper mental health care, that their parents are doing what they're supposed to do, that they're safe. His sexuality has nothing to do with his job, and he dresses like a boy at work. And his personal life is his personal life, and he doesn't bring his personal life into work.
Sounds like an evil turf to me.
Sounds like somebody who respects other people, because our sex lives are nobody's business.
It comes down to two categories, and I was going to do a presentation on this the other day. I ended up doing a presentation on something else. Actually, yesterday I ended up doing a presentation on the Fed rates, but I have another presentation coming out, and it's basically this duality, and it's like what's private and what's public, and I'm gonna break that down. And one of those things is sex.
Shocking. Somebody doing something that revolves around privacy in their bedroom, keeping that private. Wow.
I got a couple of points to drive home on this. That's going to be a future presentation I'm going to do on this channel.
Well, I'm just going to say, I'm going to tell you, because, I've got my 5-year-old, her and we talk about things that are supposed to be private, and we explain, she knows why they're supposed to be private. And she's very aware of that, because there's certain things that are private, we do in private, that are nobody else's business. Correct. And if somebody gets in, if somebody, asks about, if somebody is to come to her and, try to, whatever with those areas, she has to tell mommy or daddy, the teachers, and whatever. We have to have those conversations, because it's, it's important for safety. And that's how kids have to establish boundaries and protect themselves. But we talk about privacy, and we talk about things we do. And I think most parents do that, right? Is that normal?
Absolutely. You got to protect the children, because the predators is out here. Like, it absolutely blows my mind. Like, if my daughter came to me one day and said, Mom, I like girls, then we would deal with that when it comes. But she's not going to hear from me about girls being with girls. Like, it's just not something we discuss. Like, yeah, we're too busy waiting on her to develop the next financial system on the Syscoin blockchain.
Possibly. I mean, it's just crazy to me. Like this drag queen story time. It's just bizarre, because like my gay friends, like the people I know, they think it's gross. Like, and the fact that that also stems back to the Christina Aguilera thing. Like, she dressed however she dressed at Pride, but it's Pride. It's literally an adult thing. Kids should not be there. I don't know any gay person that has kids that bring them to those events. I've never, none of my friends have ever, because it's just not really, it's for adults,
Let's say you're walking down the street, you're on a vacation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you walk past a bar, right? And a drag queen waves to low. What are you gonna do?
I would wave myself and say, "Have a nice day," and we would walk by fast.
That sounds a little phobic, no?
Because I'm being polite.
Let low wave back to the.
I mean, I'm not gonna. If she decides that she wants to wave on her own, that's fine. But I'm probably gonna push my kid like far away, like walk by as fast as I can without being rude and disrespectful to the other people. Because she's 5 years old and she doesn't need to be asking. I mean, first off, she probably wouldn't know it's a man dressed in women's clothing.
Right.
Number one. Number two, I don't really want to have that conversation with her at 5 years old. I would rather talk to her about, like, before I came in here, her and I were playing, we were playing veterinarian. So she gave me a Nala stuffed animal from Lion King. And she says, "Mom, tell me you're going to be Linda Tang and I'm going to be Dr. Emmy Lou Harris. And you have to bring Nala into my office and tell me that she's sick and I have to fix her. Okay, so pretend." And I said, okay. So we're playing veterinarian. That's what we were playing right before we did this. So we're more concerned about that type of stuff.
Yeah, real issues.
Nala was throwing up.
The important issues in life.
The important issues, but it's like I'm not going to be rude to the other person. But at the same time, I have caught myself, like when we go in Target, we go to the store, and I can tell that the cashier is non whatever the hell they are. I have to not be offensive. I just say, okay, tell them thank you instead of saying yes sir or no ma'am, because this is the thing. I can catch this stuff because I'm an adult and I used to work with that population, so I can catch it. And and the thing is I don't want to start an argument with anybody. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I just but I do teach my daughter to use sir or ma'am because I feel like that's a polite way to do it. Like, because she calls you Uncle Hotep, and in Italian culture, Sicilian culture, you generally call like an elder. You call them, like, you generally call like somebody that you respect and you care about. That's like family. You call them like uncle or cousin, generally like cousin. So she calls you Uncle Hotep. She calls you, that's what she wants to call you, is Uncle Hotep. It's a respect thing. It's a respect thing.
Yes.
It's a respect thing, but generally it's like cousin or uncle or auntie or whatever. But I don't want to get in an argument in the store. Like if somebody ever says, no, I'm a girl, why did you call me a boy? I'm not going to have that argument with somebody in front of my kid. I'm not going to do it, because then I might go off and say, you know what? This is not appropriate. She's 5 years old, and I would have to
Dusty SOB. I totally feel you.
But that's the whole thing. Like when Christina Aguilera was at Pride and whatever.
It's ma'am.
It's an adult event.
It's ma'am.
It's an adult event. It's for adults. Like I don't see, like, literally there's grown ass men parading around half naked in Speedos with their wieners out. Like, why should a child be there?
My pronouns are ma'am, her, and she. All right, let's get out of here before we get canceled.
Okay. So what do you got to plug?
Hotep God. Oh my God. It's crazy. Did you see the flyer?
Mm-hmm.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I saw it on your pinned message.
You saw this one? With your face on it?
No, you didn't send that to me.
Oh, see, you ain't see that? You ain't see the flyer with your face on it.
What? What am I talking about?
We're going to be talking about the culture of crypto.
Ooh, let's get it. I'm excited. I didn't see that. You didn't send it to me.
I know. We hide things sometimes. It's just to surprise our friends, our buddies, and family. But yeah, it's going up. It's going up.
Once it goes up or put it on the website, I'm going to shill the shit out of it.
Okay. Let's do it.
Oh.
If you want a promo code, let me know.
I do. Yeah, give me like a 10% off.
Yeah, you get 10% off.
Oh, I'm gonna DM you later. I want you to come on once a week to live with me. What day is good for you? Like a Tuesday at 10 a.m. PST?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hotep 10 a.m. PST. I've been doing lives and my audience likes them. I think I'm gonna do more. But anyways, so you guys make sure you go to HotepCon because I'm gonna be speaking there, and I'm gonna bring my man. He's gonna be there.
Dope. Wonderful. Yes, bring him. Yeah.
I'm excited, but yeah. What do you know Uncle Hotep talking about tomorrow?
Oh my God, we got to talk about so much. We got to talk about the griftathon that's happening in Congress with the Jan 6, a whole bunch of ghetto nonsense, inflation. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be live. It's gonna be fun. It's always just a classic episode in Love every week.
I just have to tell you can't use the term ghetto because it's racist.
Really?
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
You see how believable this stuff is?
Well, because, and like, I don't know how it's racist because they used to call like some of the Jewish ghettos, like they used to call them ghettos.
They call them ghettos. Yeah.
So I don't know, like who came up with that term?
No, it's a good question. That's homework. We got to do
homework.
All
right. We'll talk about it next week.
Ghetto.
Because we have to determine if it's racist or not.
Okay, let's do
or
that.
If you're allowed to say that, because I don't think you can say anything anymore. Okay. All right. See you next week.
I see you next week, yeah. Oops, wait. Damn.